guys, so I'm here with Nathaniel from Twilio,
Yeah.
and today we're going to chat a little bit about security. So you had an amazing talk talking about two-factor authentication and
Yeah.
its vulnerabilities. But I think the first thing we should ask you is, why is security important when you're designing an application?
I mean, why is security important? I think the problem, the thing is, you don't want things to go wrong. And when I say things to go wrong, is you want to focus on whatever you're building. You want to focus on the value that you are creating for whoever. But that value will always come at some cost, and that cost can never get too great. And a security vulnerability blows that cost up infinitely. So it may be from a legal perspective, it may be from a financial perspective. It just increases headache. So security and sometimes making hard decisions to put extra effort, extra resources into security is to stop the cost of whatever you are trying to build blowing up infinitely. So that's why I think it's important. It's to protect yourself and protect your bottom line, as well as users and the people we care about. But your bottom line too.
Yeah, and obviously you did a talk about authentication, and then authentication is very kind of relatable to authorization as well. So do you think the two go together, and do you think it's important for, after making sure that you've solved all your vulnerabilities or protect against all the vulnerabilities in authentication, to also focus on authorization?
I think that they are both interconnected. I think a lot of people start with authentication and then kind of just walk away. And I think maybe if you are working on certain products that don't necessarily have high stakes, you could be like, okay, that's fair. Like, no one's going to do anything that's going to be harmful. But as you scale and as whatever you're building becomes more powerful, has more impact, especially more impact in the real world, authorization and permissions and deciding when someone can do something as well can be more important than just, oh, you are who you say you are. The same way when you go to a concert, right? You have a ticket to get in, but then there's the VIP pass. There's different levels of authorization that get you into certain places. And we do it. We have authorization in our day-to-day lives. It does extend to our digital entities.
So I guess I'll fire a kind of a controversial question at you. Some people think one way, some people think the other. But when you're coming to build a security system, we saw that authentication kind of, maybe like 10 years ago, people weren't familiar for it. They built their own. And then tools came in like Twilio, and like other tools, which kind of allowed us to do it in a very simple way, integrate it into our system for it to just work out of the box. And we know it's going to work. We know it's secure. Same thing with authorization. Now we're seeing this thing come up that it's important. Do you think people should build it themselves, or do you think they should outsource from a company that knows what they're doing?
I mean, so the short answer is you should outsource. But why? Like, why should you pay another bill, as it were? And the way I like to think about it is many of you, if you are a software engineer, you had this funny thing where you go home to your family and they ask you to fix the printer. And you're like, I don't know how to fix the printer, but I could probably figure it out. And yes, you may not work full-time in security, but you could probably figure it out. And when it's once a year, that's fine. But when it becomes something you have to do every day, and then there is new printers coming out with completely different systems, that's going to get tedious and taxing. And that's where finding another solution to handle that, to keep it up to date, to keep updated, and then you can just seamlessly integrate that into your application and focus on the things that actually bring value. So you get to focus on your actual business and the code you're creating. And then all of those extra things you can hand off to platforms that can do this better at scale, use those resources more efficiently, and they can keep up with all of the new vulnerabilities so you don't get caught with your trousers down.
I couldn't agree more with you.